Okay, here we are. 109 episodes in, Catherine. The Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast continues to ride on.
We've missed you.
I've been away.
Have you been doing sneaky kilometres ahead of the Brisbane to Gold Coast?
I wish I could say that yes, I have. But I'm going to be completely honest that I've been a little bit ill and have not been able to go anywhere near a bike. So
Okay.
crunch month coming up. A really heavily loaded month.
We'll
leading
cram.
in. Big cram. Big cram coming up. We have so much to talk about. It's so good to be back in the digs. It's been lovely seeing the show blossom as it has. You haven't had a chance to say this in the show, but you, hat tip, bow, accolades, everything, your work in Paris was just out of this world. I know I'm like 3 weeks late coming to the table with that, but there it is for you. Electric.
Thank you. I appreciate
just so
that.
good.
I mean, I must say it was a wonderful experience, of course. I've got a bit of FOMO at the moment, though, with Paralympics going on.
Big time.
Scott McGrory's doing the commentary, but he's replaced me.
Yeah.
Not that, I'm upset about that at all.
That's okay. We've replaced him too. Here on the Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast, a very special guest for episode 109. We are talking all things Paralympics. We're also talking about what's going on in Spain, but also ProVelo. It's been a topic that a lot of people want to talk about, the new league coming in. And I thought, you know what? Why not go right to the source and get Matt Wilson onto the Wheelhouse, returning, but this time in the flesh, Matt, welcome, not Malcolm Watt. Welcome to the bunker, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here.
I was going to say straight from the horse's mouth, but Matt is neither a Malcolm nor a horse.
Not a Malcolm, definitely not a Malcolm. Malcolm Watt, welcome Matt. Rolling out the welcome Matt to welcome Matt. There you go. So we're going to go into discussion around ProVelo, of course, ostensibly while you're here, but also what's happening in Spain. But you've got some connections in the Paralympics as well. So get ready to basically spend the next 45 minutes talking a lot, because we're going to really plumb mine those depths.
Yeah, I have given him the word up that you might need some training tips ahead of Beta GC.
Oh, thank you.
So
yeah,
we'll get it straight from the
I didn't know how to ask.
pro.
I was feeling all awkward. Like, how do I ask Matt to...
Well, just ask me to ask.
Yeah, can you ask Matt?
easy.
Yeah, that's great, because Matt, we've got not much time left. A lot of kilometres to ride.
I heard. Yes.
Zero load.
Well, Merckxy, how's your training going?
No, really well. Really good. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
I think poor Merckxy's been stuck in the bunker a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of work. So maybe...
I did notice the bike out there, though, so he's riding in and out. That's a start.
Yeah, the townie.
Yeah, that's a start. You guys live at least a 7-minute ride away from here, so that's not bad at all. Glutzy is clinging on, skin of the teeth, doesn't even do it justice. The fingernails have been bitten. The fingernails are long gone, but he's still there. 5 seconds, I believe, is what Primoz has allowed him. It's like a lion taunting its prey. But what an extraordinary effort, and a big milestone over in Spain with 3 Australians doing something we have not seen before, Kate.
That's correct. Now, look, I love my stats. I love my research. But this one came from Merckxy. So, Merckxy, I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Do it.
Tell us what you've uncovered.
Well, there's an Aussie in the polka dot, in the leader's jersey, and now in the green jersey, unfortunately, thanks to Wout. Caden Groves, Jay Vine, and O'Connor.
It's impressive.
Has this happened before?
Well,
in any GT?
No. Let's clarify.
Yeah.
Has there been an Australian in all the jerseys? I believe so.
Okay.
Matt, you came up with this one. Brad McGee, when he won the time trial.
Yeah, there's been a few prologue wins over the years, especially Brad McGee there. So I assume, without doing any research, that he would have held a couple of jerseys technically there, but definitely not the KOM. Wouldn't have been available.
And different riders, no. We've never had a different rider in all of the in 3 different jerseys. So that's unreal. It's very good. I mean, it means that Wout is out.
Yep. We're going to talk about Wout because there's some arguments that he's bitten off a little bit more than he could chew, maybe been a bit of Jersey greed creeping in. That's been some of the narrative around it.
But I think what's remarkable about the 3 different is they've all got quite a story. Like O'Connor, it's the longest an Australian has ever held a leader's jersey at a Grand Tour. Previous to that, Phil Anderson with 10, but 9 of those in one go and 1 in the other at the Tour de France. He held it for 1 day in 1982 and then 9 days in 1983. So 11.
So unprecedented for Glutzy.
Incredible.
Yeah.
For Vine to come back and have a leader's jersey after breaking his neck months ago.
Amazing.
Amazing. And Caden Groves now has an incredible 11 stage victories at the Vuelta.
And as a result, he's turning around to his team and saying, guys, I'm your guy. I know you've got
Guys, I'm your guy.
a reasonable option when it comes to a time 2025, but I'm sort of feeling that it might be me. That's a better option. Is he the guy?
Yeah, I think I said 11 stages, 6, pardon me, at the Vuelta, 11 in total. But I think that what we need to look at is they're very different sprinters. So Philipsen's very fast, like fastest man in the world, really, especially on a flat stage, can position himself perfectly. But what Caden Groves has, and I'm really interested in your views on this, Matt, is he's got the ability, the endurance to hang on through much tougher stages. The last stage that he won at the Vuelta stage 14 was not at all considered a flat stage, but he managed to get over the climb. He's very good on those longer days where it is a bit tougher and the bunch is a little bit smaller. So I think that Alpecin could do a great job by taking them both to the Tour because it would really increase the potential number of stage wins.
Oh, yes or no. It's becoming so specific now, these teams and the way they go about, a race like the Tour de France, and having dual objectives within one team is a difficult thing to manage. So, I don't know how Caden would go in a lead-out situation, and obviously the flatter pure sprint stages would be for Philipsen, and where would he fit in that, and how would he be able to contribute there? And I think, especially for the sprinters, if you're coming there with the fastest sprinter in the world, you have to come with a dedicated team.
So it's kind of up to Groves maybe to prove that he can be an integral part of the lineup, and then maybe another option on some tougher days. Would that kind of sway the directors to choosing him?
Potentially, yeah. No, it's a difficult one, but I think obviously he's chosen to stay at Alpecin for a reason. And I wouldn't imagine Alpecin would have said, we'll take you to the Tour de France as part of that deal. But things change in cycling, sprinters especially. They lose their edge sometimes. They get injured a lot because they crash a lot. They take a lot of risks. So you never know. But yeah, I'm sure he's got his reasons.
Philipsen likes to take risks.
Well, Philipsen's Philipsen's winning as well. Like, it's not as though he's had some sort of, horrific form drop or something and Caden's saying, hello, my time to shine. Philipsen is winning all the while.
Yes, he is. Yes, considered the best in the world at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Interesting.
We'll back him in.
Yeah.
We'll back him in.
I mean, maybe if what he needs to do is put a pitch in to the team director, we can help him. Maybe our audience can help him. Guys, if you want to help Caden Groves get his opportunity at the Tour de France, tell us what we can include in our marketing proposal to HQ.
Good read.
Yeah,
really good read. That was completely ad-lib too, by the way. There's no scripting involved there whatsoever.
Not. But I say hashtag get Caden to the Tour de France.
What do they lose? What does Alpecin lose having them both? Like, there's an argument that they could complement each other in certain stages with reduced sprints for Caden and whatnot, but what does the team lose overall if they went down that path?
Well, you've got the fastest sprinter in the world, so there's going to be some responsibility to chase down stages. So when you're building your team, you've got an 8-man team. You're going to need a couple of guys to chase. Then obviously you've got Jasper for the final. So you've got 4 guys left there, 5 guys left there to orchestrate a lead out. So every one of those guys plays a role. Obviously Mathieu van der Poel is the best in the world in those lead-outs. He's obviously the best in the world, a lot of other things as well, but in those finals with Jasper, there's no one better to deliver him with his capabilities. So where do you put Caden Groves? Is Caden sitting before Mathieu van der Poel? Is he behind? How can he fit into that? Who will fill the place that he's replacing? Yeah. So every single member of that 8-man team is important, and they all play a role to play.
That's interesting, isn't it?
He needs a pitch. He definitely needs a curated.
And he's a leader, and he's a winner. Yeah. And being second or third in the lead out, or something, does that interest him?
Yeah.
Or is it going to the Giro and winning 2 stages there and 3 stages the Vuelta? Yeah.
Interesting that, and what that can do over time to the dynamics and the harmony within a team too. If you sort of,
winners
I
like
want
to win.
And
his confidence, being a sprinter, it's all about confidence.
Yeah.
They have to win and they have to keep winning and they have to feel like they're the best, and to be put into a position where you're suddenly leading out another guy changes your mentality.
Yeah.
How are you going to handle that? How's that going to affect you long term?
Very curious. You often see the sprinters go the other direction. Like they lead out, like Mark Renshaw led out Cab for so long and then was like, hey, I think I could actually win on my own. Mm-hmm. You tend to see it go the other way.
Yes.
Not, hey, I'm winning, 6 Vuelta stages to date, but hey, I'll go in service.
Not when you're at your peak.
No.
It's got to have that bluster. It's got to have that bravado. Like Formula One drivers, they have to think that they're the absolute best in the world and no one is going to get anywhere near them.
Or maybe he just really rates himself and thinks, you know what, I'll say that Philipsen's better, but actually I reckon I can.
Then I'll get out there.
Time will tell.
Okay. Benny O'Connor, so a lot of talk, obviously. We love the performance. 11 days is remarkable. We've been through the history of that. Having said that, we were talking, you guys were. I was able to not be involved here with a little bit of criticism about Benny and his conduct and his behaviour. As recently as the most recent episode, I must say, Kate.
Yes.
And that's fine. That's all right.
We respectfully said that he has some vulnerabilities around emotional management.
And social media.
And social media.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of a dummy spit, deleted his Twitter, which I think is a good thing. I said that I thought he was immensely talented, but I was concerned that they needed to protect him from himself a bit in terms of managing the pressure. Matt, it has been interesting watching Ben O'Connor develop because he's supremely talented, insanely talented, but it does seem he has a real vulnerability around handling the pressure, and that was my concern. He's done a pretty tremendous job, though, holding on to this red for 11 days. I mean, the best an Australian has ever done. That shows a strength we haven't seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I don't know Ben personally, and actually I'm not on social media much either, so I've not seen anything he's done there. But I did watch the Netflix series where he was portrayed, fairly poorly, I guess. And that can always be the editing room that can be there to blame for a lot of that.
Sure.
So I'm not going to say anything about Ben personally, but yeah, look, what he did at the Vuelta was super impressive. Obviously, they gave him a lot of rope there, and I'm sure there was a few teams, especially Red Bull, scratching their head after that going, have we given him a little bit too much rope? But he did a tremendous ride, and he's fought valiantly all the way to the line, and you've got to give him full respect.
He seems to, since the Twitter thing, that noise has sort of died down a bit. Either he has been told, can you just calm down and focus on the racing, or he's just so effing tired because they're just riding
column A, column
constantly.
B.
And he's got no energy.
I think he's done a good job. I mean, he had a bit of a blip in the stage that he nearly lost the red, didn't though. 5 seconds, hang on, jumped in the team car, went down the mountain, and Glutzy, you were just blown away by it, by the fact that they could get him down the mountain and miss the presentation. That's got to be tough on him too, I reckon.
Did you just call Merckxy Glutzy?
Yeah,
Did
I was a bit confused.
Did I?
Because I was like, it's been
Did I really?
I mean, there's some good glutes
I
in
was
here,
looking,
but...
I was looking straight down at Merckxy, and I called him Glutzy.
All those leg raises
My
paying
bad.
off.
Shit, I thought we had Ben O'Connor on the line. But
You've got a great set of glutes on you,
Thank you.
darling.
Yeah.
But yes, I did mean Merckxy.
Got that one to
No,
ask
because
about.
Merckxy, but the first thing he does in the morning is
Whoa,
read
whoa,
all the articles
Yeah.
to come out. You watch the racing, but it's sometimes the interest is in all of the articles that come out afterwards.
Oh, for sure.
Because you turn the telly off once the stage finishes, and it's 2 a.m. in Australia, and you go to sleep. But when you wake up, that's when you find out all of these other interesting little...
It's been digested and
been.
regurgitated, right around the world. Look, well done to him. It's bloody good to see. I thought you were going to say first thing Merckxy does is get up and do glutes exercises. that wouldn't surprise me either. But hunting down Benny is, of course, Primoz. So that gap, narrow. Look, it seems inevitable. It seems like it's his to lose from here. What do we make of the great man?
I mean,
the sticky tape man.
Firstly, so glad, touch wood.
Yeah.
No
getting through
sticky
a
tape
GT
to be
without
seen.
sticky tape,
I know,
yeah.
we're so relieved. Although he's good at getting through the Vuelta without sticky tape. It's the others that seem to really
bring him unstuck.
So to speak, to carry on the sticky tape. No, he's doing a remarkable job, I think, of holding it together. Like, tremendous lead when O'Connor went, 4.5 minutes. So Roglic has just bit by bit pulled that back and always had the confidence in himself. What interests me, though, is the extremes they're going to manage the performance and look at everything. So he did, on a couple of stages ago, he ended up copping a 20-second fine because he changed bikes, but it looks like he changed the bike not because of a mechanical but strategically. So he got a bike with shallower dish wheels with a bigger cassette with 25k to go to ensure that he could get up the mountain, which was a 24% patches, I might add. Smart.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, they ended up getting a 20-second fine for it because, Matt, he had to draft on the back of the car to make it back to the bunch. Surely that's a bit risky to change bikes and knowing you can get back on by drafting. I mean, that's technically within the rules, but I don't know that it's really the best way to do it.
No, and look, you can have a plan at the start of the day of you're going to do this. We're going to change this bike at the bottom, no problem. But then you don't know what happens in the race at the time. And what we could see is that the cars were all split up. They weren't all sitting in a convoy. It wasn't an ideal situation to do it, but they decided to do it. They committed. In an ordinary situation, you'd change your bike and then you could just use the cars that are in the convoy to come back, which is legal. You can just use the cars and slowly come back and have a teammate there to help you. But that wasn't there, and it was clear that the car was just drafting him back. And in situations like that, you'll find commissaires will allow, turn a blind eye if you've had a puncture or you had a crash or something, and they'll allow you to draft to the back of the convoy, and then you can make your own way to the front from there. But it's pretty hard to turn a blind eye when you've done it for a strategic reason, not a mechanical and
pure performance.
That's pretty common in a time trial, right? A bike change, but in a road race, that's not common.
Yeah, no, they used to do it quite a bit for whatever reason, but now with all the bikes are sort of minimum weight now, 6.8. You don't really see it that often, but yeah.
Yeah, and time trials, it's when it goes up a climb, like you point out, Merckxy, and they're going from a time trial bike to a road bike so that they can climb on that. But that's really like drilling down every % of the performance to do it in a road stage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and look, it was an exceptionally steep final climb, which is probably why. But
24%.
I'm sure they regret the decision.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I mean, imagine if he then lost by 19 seconds.
Yeah, and what they might have fined him a hell of a lot more than 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's up to the commissaires what they did there. So,
That grey area, I guess, of it being strategic, as you say, and it's like if it's strategic, it's a no-no, and it being just, okay, it's fine, we're just going to give him a bit of a hand to get back on the bunch. Is it easy to determine? Because you know what I mean, if you're letting this one slide, letting that one slide, oh, no, that one was clearly a ploy, that one's going to be fined, all of a sudden you're creating potential double standards and you've got teams crying foul. I'm just saying this is a huge problem in sport, isn't it?
It's the discretion.
Yeah. When any kind of discretionary ruling, though, can cause just...
I hate the word discretion.
Depends if he's Spanish or not.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, in the Giro, I think it definitely depends.
It's like high tackles in the NRL, Merckxy. It's very much like that.
Exactly.
That's a high tackle, that's a low tackle, that's a high tackle. It's kind of what constitutes a clear strategic ploy and what doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got good commissaires, then I think discretion is good because you cannot regulate around everything, and if you try, that ruins the sport.
And you can't in cycling. It's so dynamic. It's always changing. Conditions are changing. There's always a different situation. It's not like tennis where it can be very, the ball went over the line or it didn't go over the line. In cycling, there's so much nuance and it's so dynamic.
Well, there is a rule where you can't wear leg warmers or arm warmers unless the discretion of the commissaire says the conditions are appropriate.
And we've seen some good examples.
And they do that because they're preventing people from essentially wearing, a one-piece aero suit in road racing. And so the commissaires have the discretion to call that. And so I think if you look at rules around that, they can't just say if it's 11.5 degrees, you can wear leg warmers or not. You know, there has to be discretion or it would just make a mockery out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the UCI does a pretty good job of making the mockery out of a lot of things, the sport related, but yeah. Oh, it's been a while, Merckxy.
Has it?
Yeah, since we've had a WTF UCI, so I'm just, reminding them we're alive.
What about in my absence anyway, the Wout jar? Has the Wout jar been full every week?
No.
Okay, donation forthcoming then, because Wout's out. Kate.
Wout is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, bummer.
Just on Wout, should be noted he had his single chain ring going again before the crash. Loves his single chain ring.
Yeah, look, I love the bike choices of Wout van Aert. I mean, everything related to pretty much. But no, look, he was having a remarkable Vuelta because, he was leading...
he rides bikes too.
He does.
Yeah. You know he's half your age. Literally half your age.
Oh, stop it. I'm not creepy, okay? I just respect the fella. He was nearly 100 points ahead in the race for the green jersey, ahead of Caden Groves. Yay for Caden, but bummer for him. He was also wearing the KOM jersey, but he was on equal points with Jay Vine going in. So I wonder, Matt, if that's why he went in the breakaway to try and get some KOM points to keep both. But really, does he need to? Is that the main objective here?
Well, what makes Wout great is the way he races.
That is true.
He doesn't think like normal people, and he can be in the yellow jersey and attacking. You can have a teammate in the yellow jersey. He can be attacking. He doesn't write himself off from anything, and he throws it all out there, which is why you've got a bit of a crush on him. Why I've got a bit of a crush on him. Why half the world,
thank you. Yeah.
Half the world have a bit of a crush on him. He's an amazing athlete and just an exciting rider to watch. And yeah, he went out there and tried to win the KOM, and he came unstuck, but. God bless him.
But when he doesn't come unstuck, as you say, it's genius every time. But that's sort of not pulling that off is always going to attract.
Well, he's got a sore knee now.
Yeah.
It was
he looked uncomfortable.
It was his second crash on that stage, so I think it was just...
It wasn't his day.
Yeah, there's some hills to come. He's probably the only one that was excited for them, to be honest. But he'll have to wait.
Okay, I'm sure he'll cheer himself up by just a gentle 800-kilometre ride and bottle of champagne or whatever he does. That's what he does in his spare time, literally, isn't it? It's like, I ride 1,000 Ks and drink bubbles.
Not quite Lachie Morton style. We'll talk about that a bit later.
Morton, that's coming up too, yeah. Let's go to the women's peloton, Kate. Some excitement in there as well. Now, you've got a little bit to say about the... please help me. Please.
Tour l'Avenir.
L'Avenir. Yeah, thank you.
Well, it is one of the biggest development races in the men's peloton and has been for many years. Isaac Del Toro, Tobias Foss, Pogacar, Marc Solar, Quintana, Chavez, all names that have won the race. It's an under-23 race, big development race. Did you race it, Matt?
Yeah, won a couple of stages in my day.
See, there you go. Yep. We've got alumni here.
Excellent.
It is a marker for champions.
It is.
Right, it is really known for that. And now for the second year running, they've got a women's edition. So we had an Australian team over there. And what differentiates it is it's not Pro Tour, it's national teams. So there's not a lot of races left on the calendar that are just national teams. So this is an incredible opportunity for the young Aussies. And Matt, for the first time, the young Aussie women will be able to put themselves on show for international teams, get a development opportunity. It's a real game changer.
It is, and it's just another sign of the direction women's cycling's going at the moment on the road, which is just incredible. The under-23 women's category comes in next year as well. We've got women's Pro Tour level teams coming in, so it's just growing all the time. Tour de l'Avenir means the Tour of the Future. So Tour of the Future for women's cycling's bright.
It's exciting, and I'm glad that the Aussies could have a team over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you look at events like World Championships and Olympics, and whenever we have success, you're like, sensational. But then you cast your eye back to the development pipeline and think, will this continue? It's been a long journey for these athletes to get here. And so these are the athletes that we will be looking at the 2032 Olympics, which, all eyes on here.
I can hear Bates dishing out the nicknames now.
I know. I mean, we've got a few. We might have to have a bit of a workshop.
Yeah, we will.
On some of them. But
Guys, structurally, the women's season. So we're talking about the men's, we're starting to sort of come to the end, basically, of a long long and beautiful season, but the women's is a little bit out of whack in that sense. Why are they so different?
Yeah, good question. It's interesting because if you look at the men's World Tour, they've got 3 one-day races left, and then World Championships, and then a short tour in China. But the women, they've got 3 significant tours. If you look at the Tour de France, it's 8 days. The Tour of Romandy is coming up, that's 3, but the Holland Ladies Tour or Simac Ladies Tour is 6 days. So it's almost as big as it gets in the women, plus a tour of Chongqing Island at 5 days. So for the men, they get to finish their season with some one-day races that align to Worlds. But for the women, it's tours at the end of the season. It seems a bit arse-about to me. And I think it's pretty hard for the women's racers who, especially the Aussies, you start in January and you're finishing your season with 5-6 day tours.
Yeah, look, Guangxi is their last race, and that's a one-day race, and the men have a tour.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exploding so fast, women's cycling, and I think it's still trying to find where it is. We're seeing years where there's an oversupply of teams and undersupply of riders, and this year there's actually been 5 or 6 teams that have folded in the women's peloton. So you're seeing a lot of really good women's riders not being able to find a spot. So it's changing year on year. And yeah, I think the calendar's still trying to settle itself and find out how it's going to work. But the overall trajectory is upwards, and I think that's what's important. And it'll find its structure.
Yeah, I'd like to see a lot of parity between the men's World Tour and the women's. Even in the way that we can delineate in the men's, you've got the springs, then you've got tour season, and then you've got end of year, autumn classics.
Yep.
And I'd like to see that in the women's too.
Is less racing ever the answer for a team? Like you're talking about teams falling over, talents stretched far and wide. Is how do you address it?
It's a good question. I mean, I think that's something we can probably talk to a bit, talking about.
I feel like we've got a good guy for this.
Yeah, we
subject
certainly.
today.
We certainly do, because
it's almost like we planned it.
Season design is there's a lot to it, and Matt, I mean, you are in the thick of doing that, so.
And
we'll
when
explore it there.
Spoken to you in the past, sustainability has been the key. Like you've really drilled home on that. You're not going into something like this with a 1-year plan. You're thinking long term.
Yeah.
And the growth that we've seen in the women's tour has been, as you say, absolutely immense. So how do we sustain it?
Yeah, the length of the season's the difficult part. So from January, through to October is obviously a hard one. And then you've got things like Tour Down Under being World Tour for women. Well, are all the women's World Tour teams financial enough to be able to go to Tour Down Under and then turn up to Guangxi at the end of the season and do the whole lot? So, like I said, it has to stage and it has to go up incrementally with the way that the teams are financed. So even the women's Pro Tour level teams coming in next year has hurt a lot of teams, because all of a sudden they're saying, well, we can't afford that. But to be able to do the classes of races that we want in the season that we want to do, we need to be Pro Tour. So that they have to step away. And you're seeing that in the under 23 category in the men's as well. You're seeing a lot of teams folding, a lot of teams stopping, because there's just so much money going into development cycling now and under 23 teams through World Tour teams, that those independent teams anymore, they can't financially keep up. So they end up stopping. So there's a real market correction going on in that way.
Yeah, it's
That's
very
really
interesting.
Yeah, it is. Oh, jinx. Hit the interesting mark. But it is a giant travelling circus, and got to keep it. Hang on, what? Can I hear you doing glutes exercises in there, Merckxy? Is that new nickname gone to your head?
You fool.
You are. I could hear him. I
didn't even realise I'd called him glutes. Sorry, Merckxy.
No, it's all right.
I was wondering why he wasn't replying as well, but I get it now.
Okay, let's go to Paris. Paris, the Paralympics, Australia, absolutely killing it. It's been really, really good. Now, you guys, I know you've been watching, because that's just what you do. Big night. Started first night of the track, bang.
It did. It's remarkable racing. And what I want to say is what's been really remarkable to me about the way that Channel 9 has put together the coverage is really including some of the para talent in the broadcast in ways that we've never seen before. So Scott McGrory is commentating with Sam Willoughby and a lady by the name of Felicity Johnson, who's one of our para athletes from Tandem, vision impaired. Now, she is commentating with Scott. She can't see what's on the screen, right? But they've developed a way where Scott very intricately describes what we can see on screen, and she then adds the insight and the emotion and the experience into it.
Wow.
And it's one of the most immersive commentary experiences you'll ever hear. It's so cool. And I love that they're doing that, because usually they would just say, oh, well, you know, you're not going to have a vision impaired athlete commentating from a screen. But they've been able to do it.
What an insight you'd get into it as well, you know. It's, unbelievable.
It's sensational. So we've had a lot of success. Emily Petricola and Amanda Reid have gone back-to-back. They've with gold. Jess Gallagher with Caitlin Ward, they got a silver in the tandem, which is unreal. Corey Boddington, he won the men's time trial. So they've had some great results. We've had a lot of near misses too, a lot of fourths and fifths. The team sprint got a bronze medal. The road is still to come though. But it's been pretty exciting. Let's
just very quickly, can we go to an athlete who probably would have been at the Paris Olympics on a bike, but is actually not, is at the Paralympics in the pool and doing remarkable things. I believe, Matt, you've had a little bit to do with Alexa Leary. Her story, if not the story of the Paras, is very, very close to it. It's been incredible to watch. What can you tell us about Alexa?
Yeah, amazing young girl. Had a terrible bike accident out training. I don't even know how many years ago now, maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, about 3, yeah.
3-4 years ago, and had a horrific brain injury. It was just outside of Noosa. She was, didn't know if she was going to make it. And she made it. She came through, and she's just come in steps and bounds. And she's got an amazing family around her, the Learys. Noosa based, and she was into triathlon, and then she decided to have a crack at the Paralympics, and she's won a gold medal. So it's incredible story.
It has just been remarkable. They won gold in the relay, and she anchored at 6 seconds. She made up to win the gold.
It down.
Oh, it was
it's crazy,
just unbelievable. And to think of her journey just in the last 3 years, you know, like it's literally goosebumps. And I think so many people can really appreciate the journey she's been on, because there's so many of us who have people in our lives who have had bad illness or injury, and just to be up and functional, we're really grateful for that. For her to be winning gold medals 3 years later, it's amazing. And it makes me think of Kaya Sakakibara and his journey, hopefully to become a Paralympic rower at the next Olympics, and they're just so inspirational. I love the Paras. They just make you believe you can. Yeah. They really do.
She is that. She's the epitome of that, isn't she?
She is. We love Alexa Leary. And everybody loves Alexa Leary, actually.
Yeah, big time. We love a cross-code story. We love it. An athlete's like, I'm injured. I've got to get on the rower. 4 years later, they're rowing at the Olympics.
Yeah.
This is different, though. This is a life-changing, the sort of thing that can end a lot of things. And she's absolutely, the resilience and just the energy that she has, that positivity is a lesson for everyone. It's been so good to see. Now, what haven't we spoken about with Matt now that we've got him here in the bunker that could be a good topic to broach? Oh, no, that's it. Okay, thanks for listening. Like, share, just kidding. Let's go ProVelo Super League. Matt, you're wearing the shirt. You're here today. We're going to dive into it a little bit now. Can I just open with a quick... Are we going to see it on TV? Is it going to be broadcast? Do we know?
It's going to be broadcast, yes. Yep. We have a broadcast deal, which will be announced next week, which we're super, super excited about. Every event will be shown in part live and also in linear video on demand, and we'll have highlights packages going out through various digital network as well.
That's exciting. I mean, that's one thing that almost has to be a given, that they'll have that kind of coverage. We've had quite a few people asking questions, actually, because it's been a bit of a tumultuous time in cycling in Australia and New Zealand. We've seen over the last couple of weeks a few teams fold. Bridge Lane and ARA Skip Capital has gone to under 19. Can you talk about, what the trend with that? How will that impact the domestic scene moving forward if there's a contraction in the market? We just spoke about it on World Tour level. Like it's an international thing that we're seeing.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And like I said, it's a real market correction. What's going on? There's a lot of money flooding into certain programs, the big development programs, which are run like mini World Tour teams now. So those smaller independent teams are all drying up, and yeah, we're seeing the result of that, with Bridge Lane and ARA, which is our team as well. So that's the reality. It's also a lot more expensive to do what we do now than it was even a few years ago. So that's making things very difficult. But yeah, I mean, on a domestic level, we've got a lot of teams, a lot of new teams, hopefully starting up. We've got quite a few teams already confirming verbally that they're going to do it. So we're very confident we will get a good amount of teams, which is exciting. We've got a couple of international teams we're talking to as well.
You were aiming pretty high there. I think it was it 30?
30 was the target. Yep.
Can you safely say, because we were speaking before about that sustainability, but what's the bankable number where you say we could have 15, 20 and we could pretty much guarantee that they're going to have that longevity about them?
We've got no idea where we're going to land.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm pretty confident of 10 teams at the moment that we're probably going to have. Pretty confident of about 5 more. And then there are probably about 12 teams that are sitting there that could go either way. Look, we really don't know. But we are going to have a wildcard system of entries for individuals that can come in. They'll be able to apply in October. We'll go through those applications and then grant wildcard entries based on how many teams we end up with. So there's going to be a full field of riders racing this, and it's going to be the best quality field that we can have.
That's fantastic. So last week we confirmed. Joel, I hope you're on board for this. We didn't have the conference beforehand. That the Wheelhouse and the Amy Gillett Foundation are going to sponsor a team into the Black Line Track League, because there were a heap of athletes who didn't have a team but wanted to be part of it. So we got roped into that. If you're an individual athlete, are you saying that there's a pathway to join these races and be thrown into a team?
Not thrown into a team.
Okay, but
you race as an individual.
individuals.
You race as an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have some parameters around that to stop, people going, okay, well, I'm just going to enter 2 riders as individuals as a team. So, all that documentation will come out. But effectively, yes, you can ride it as an individual.
Excellent. Merckxy, you can relax. I'm not signing us up for another team.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
It's it sounds to me like everything's heading in the right direction. Have you confirmed the races?
Yep. So we've got 6 of our 7 events all confirmed. And yeah, we're really excited about them. We've got stages locked down, and we're going to start to announce that as of Thursday will be the first announcement. And we'll announce 2 events a week and provide details on stages for those events as well.
And what are the races look like? Do they look like what we're used to seeing them look like the Tour of Tasmania as an example? Is that in, and will it look like it has in the past?
Yeah, more or less. Every stage race will be a 3-day stage race. Like I said, a big part of this is we want to bring the racing back to where people are going to watch it. So every race will start with a criterium in a city centre, somewhere where people can go and watch it. That'll be part of the broadcast. And then we'll do a double stage day on the Saturday, followed by a Queen stage on the Sunday, which will be the big epic road race, and that'll have the live broadcast attached.
Yeah.
Wow.
And apart from that, we've got our 2 one-day classics as well with Grafton and Melbourne and Warrnambool.
Yeah. So of the teams that haven't confirmed yet, what's holding them back? Like, are there concerns from the current teams about the series or...
Look, probably the big thing is it's just hard to find money at the moment. The country's bordering on a recession. No one wants to spend anything. Everyone's sitting there on their dollars and waiting to see. And this is something new. It's something that's unproven. So there's a leap of faith there that needs to happen from sponsors to come on and say, okay, I get this. This is going to be worthwhile. But this is the first time that domestic road cycling in Australia has real commercial value. There's actual return on investment that's going to come back to those partners. But they're just waiting to see. I think that's probably the big problem at the moment. Is just waiting to commit. But hopefully everyone takes that leap of faith on board and believes in us and jumps on board.
On that back end, incentives wise. So what do we like? Prizes, money. What's on offer?
Yeah, look, there will be prize pools on offer. Where that lands, we're not quite sure yet. Probably the biggest prize of all, which we announced about a month ago, was the winners of this league. the under 23 category winners of this league will receive contracts with Jayco Alula. So for the women, that means a contract with the Live Jayco development team for the next season. So they'll be a part of that. So that'll be a year-long contract. And for the men, that's a stagiaire with the World Tour team in that season. So the winners that win the event in March will be riding for Jayco in August. So
wow,
that's huge.
Okay,
that's cool. That's like we talk so much about Jay Vine and Zwift Academy, but this is now like the next.
Hell of an incentive.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it's. I don't know any other racing series in the world other than the Zwift one, which has a similar thing. But real-time road racing, I don't know of any other league in the world that's got that prize, and it creates a direct link from what we're doing to that World Tour. It's also a really great legacy piece for Jerry Ryan, who at the end of the day is the guy that's putting the money behind this. So for him to have that connection through to his team as well, and it just raises the stakes for the kids, and if this is going to work, we need people to watch it, right? If no one watches this, at the end of the day, it's not going to work. So why are people going to watch it? It's got to be something that people are racing for, that is tangible, that is real. So a prize like that will really just raise the stakes for everybody and hopefully get people watching it, get more riders coming out for it. We've had a few international riders reach out saying, can we get wildcards? Which we've said, sure, you ride for continental pro teams overseas, you can come and ride that, but they want to come out and see if they can win that prize.
Ooh,
sorry, Kate.
Oh no, does the winner have to be Australian?
Nope.
No.
Ooh.
So that really does open it up to anyone.
Yep. Under 23 category though.
Yeah.
They have to be under 23 because that's
Do you have any concerns about the talent pool? With wanting people to watch it, you want to make sure you've got obviously the highest quality athletes performing at their peak. Is there any concern that we won't fill that?
No, I'm not concerned. The concern is how many teams we'll have. That's we've got to be authentic and honest about that. It's a difficult market at the moment, but look, we've got obviously the wildcard entries, which we'll accept, and we've also got state teams which we're working on at the moment, which hopefully we can get together, which will pick up a lot of riders as well. But I'm confident we've got the depth in Australia to run a really great field. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And if you look at New Zealand, they're starved for races. Asia are starved for races that time of year as well. So I think in our region, there's plenty of talent to fill this thing with a great field.
I want to ask a question that a listener sent in, Chris Ludds. He said, can you talk about the implosion of cycling in ANZ? Why are races disappearing off the calendar? Why are teams turning their backs on under 23 and elite and focusing on under 19? I thought this was a good question, especially you've got some insight with ARA that's now gone to under 19. So why the shift from the under 23 or elite category to that development category?
So what we're seeing, like I said before, all the best teams in the world, World Tour teams will have their own under 23 programs, and that's where all the money's going, and that's where all the best riders want to go. So there's less and less opportunities for riders that don't get into those pathway programs. And what we're seeing this year is a big market correction, and there's going to be a lot of under 23s that don't find spots. That's the reality. So what we're seeing is there's a double down on focus on under 19s. Teams want to find the best talent as under 19s. They want to get them into their under 23 programs early, and then the best ones through those programs get World Tour contracts and continue their careers. So you're seeing a lot less transfers, especially amongst the good riders through their careers now, because they're just locking in with teams. So the under 19 category is becoming so important. And as a young rider, if you want to turn pro, it's no longer, especially for Australia and New Zealand riders, you can't just sit at home and go to school until you're 18 and then go to Europe after that, because you won't find a team. You need to get results, get yourself over there, get exposure, and get on the radar as an under 19 to make sure that you get into one of those good pathway programs.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it almost positions ProVelo League as an incredible second chance saloon for the guys who don't get picked up in under 19s, the guys and girls, but it gives them an opportunity, especially with the prize of a contract at the end, to keep that development path going.
Absolutely. And it is a competition to get yourself on the radar, even if you're not an under 19. But we'll have an under 19 category through ProVelo as well, which will be critical for juniors in Australia. And if we don't have that pathway, what do you do if you're a young rider? You're just getting into road cycling. You go to your local club, as that viewers just asked the question, why are races drying up? Because they're too expensive to run, because there's no sponsorship value for sponsors to come on board. So you race on your local club, you probably do some crits, some track racing. Where do you go from there? It's a massive leap to get yourself from there to Europe. So you need elite domestic competition to go to see if you can cut it, to see if you like it, to take that next level, and then your trip to Europe's that much closer.
Yeah. The Jayco tie-in, sorry Merckxy, that Jayco tie-in, it's great to have that domestically, but it's something down the track you want to see big teams from overseas becoming part of that too, so those pathways can continue to expand and give our riders that opportunity to get out of not get out of Australia. No one wants to get out, but to go and explore overseas. So it starts off going to Jayco, but maybe we're going to Albertson in a few years. Those relationships, is that something you're looking to build as well?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. No, look, we'd love it. We'd love ProVelo to become the breeding ground of of development riders around the world. It'd be fantastic. But certainly, given the distance in Australia, it's a very tough call for European teams or that. But yeah, certainly Asia, Australia, New Zealand.
Merckxy, did you have a question?
Matt, how do you judge if it's a success or not? How long will you give it?
Look, I think if in 3 or 4 years this is not building and growing and getting to where we want to get to, I think we can say that it was that it didn't work. But we've certainly got a decent runway to get this right, and what we've built at this stage, I'm sure won't be perfect. I'm sure there will be problems and we'll have to overcome. But as long as we reach out for feedback, we talk to everybody, we pivot, we change where we need to. Jerry Ryan's given us, the sport, another massive gift with this, which is an opportunity to grow road cycling in Australia again. And it's a big responsibility that we're not taking lightly. And I think we've just got to try and get it right. The most important thing is, just get people to watch it.
Yeah.
You mentioned bringing the races closer to the fans. That means cities, is that what you're getting at?
Cap cities or regional as well?
Absolutely. So almost all of the tours, and we'll release details about this over the next couple of weeks, but almost all of the tours have capital city criteriums. So on a Friday night, so people can come out after work, get down there, watch the event. We'll have DJs, we'll have commentators, we're going to have VIP areas, really just bringing a party feel and an exciting racing to the city. And it's a great opportunity to connect with corporate sponsors. Corporate Australia love cycling. They do. But they don't get much of a chance to network and get out there and watch bike races. So bringing those events to those capital cities is going to be critical.
Just to loop back to the wild card, if you're an individual and you want to partake, you fill out the form, but what's the cost attached to that? Do you just cover your own costs, or is there a cost to ProVelo?
There'll be an entry fee. Yeah, they'd have to pay an entry fee for each event. Yep, but that's all.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
Are you in, Joel?
Yeah. Queensland. I want to ask about the state team, because when you get the application from the Wheelhouse team, there's 2 genuine Queenslanders. There'll be a third person who claims to be a Queenslander, but she's actually the pride of Parramatta. So please don't approve her to ride for Queensland.
No, I'll be riding for the pride of Parramatta.
I thought you would be.
It'll be emblazoned across my back.
And then you'll see that maroon out ahead of you and go, I want to change colours.
Oh, nonsense.
Matt, how will it look different, like as a viewer, how will it look different to what we've had in the past?
That's a really good question, and it's something that we're really focused on. So we understand that this has got to be an entertainment product, and we really want to change the way this is broadcast. So we're going to have a really fun feel about it. We're going to have a big focus on the athletes. Like I said, the story behind those under 23 contracts really gives us an opportunity to dive into, the feelings and thoughts behind these riders. Why do they want to get there? And we really want to weave that into the broadcast and the storytelling. And I think, some of the people that were got involved on the broadcast side, which all this information will come out really shortly, I think will get people excited because they're guns.
Yeah.
They're experts in what they do. We all have a very clear vision for what we're trying to achieve. So I'm excited for the look and the feel.
I'm excited if you could get Max Hobson a contract for cyclocross, perhaps. So he was on Bridgeland. We've had him in here, our wonderful national cyclocross champion. So while you're out, working your networks, Max Hobson on a cyclocross team, I think we're prepared to do a marketing proposal for him too.
Done.
And a hashtag to get him.
We might even
in
script
there.
something.
We might even, but he might be someone that comes in as a wild card without a team and blows people's socks off. So it is a really interesting playground in that regard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're actually doing a bit of a workshop yesterday talking about it, and going out and capturing content with the teams prior, and having all that sort of B-roll stuff that we can use during the broadcast. And I said, it's highly likely that the winner of some of these stages or the winner of the whole league could be an individual. How are we going to tell those stories?
Yeah. Well, Max won the opening stage at the Tour of Tasmania last year on his own. That's how he got his contract. So
we look at things
tell
like
the stories.
Live Golf and these sort of these events that have tried to sort of just create a new viewer product, and a huge part of that is obviously the athletes themselves coming on board. And you're saying a lot about telling their stories, getting to know them. How crucial is it that we have characters? Like, not every athlete is an extrovert performer, look at me kind of person, but you kind of need a degree of that, don't you, to make sure that they're selling the event as much as you guys are?
You really do, and thank God the younger generation are a bit more savvy with that than my generation was.
Yeah.
They sort of get self-promotion and brand, and they're a lot more across social media, and so and I'm sure we'll draw those characters out as the season goes on.
The youth,
the TikTok generation.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks for talking.
I've just got one more, Kate. Sorry, a little note here from a P. Liggett. He says, have you got commentators locked in that you can reveal, Matt? Commentators.
I've always got room for P. Liggett if he wants to come on board.
Yep. That's hilarious. Thank you for your question, Paul. Okay, well, thank you very much. Really exciting. Thank you for coming in and giving us the update, Matt. Now, I'm just going to commandeer quickly because I'm under a little bit of pressure. We've got how many? 100 kilometres?
100
kilometres to ride.
In less than 100 days.
Yeah, I've never ridden more than 40 in one hit. I've been injured and ill for a while, haven't trained.
Stop talking yourself down.
I haven't registered yet either, so I'm sort of holding on to that as a possible out.
No.
But Kate, that won't happen.
No.
Just hoping for a couple of quick fire tips. How can someone get up for a ride of that magnitude in, 4.5 weeks?
Well, it's October the 13th, so you've got about 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Oh.
If I were you, I'd just look at your bike.
Yeah.
It's about the best chance you got of improvement in 4 weeks.
Put a motor on it.
Could it just get a motorbike? Is that what you mean?
No. Comfortable saddle, some light pair of wheels. Make little equipment improvements. Probably help at this stage.
Yeah. How many Ks should you be getting through a week as a non-rider?
So coming from zero?
0. Well, no, okay, not 0. So up until 6 weeks ago, it was probably 50 a week.
Yeah.
And now it's 0.
Yeah. Oh, look, if you're doubling your Ks from where you are now, that's probably about max. So go for 100. If you're used to 50.
100 a week.
Yeah.
Just break it into digestible parts.
Yeah.
It's not like cramming for a test, though. The more you cram in, the better you're going to go. That's probably not going to work at this stage.
Nope.
No 1,000K weeks before.
I don't think so.
No.
Looking forward to it, though. Team Wheelhouse. Merckxy will be there as well.
Yes.
Hendrickus?
Hendrickus,
he's in.
He's riding as well.
Mr. Vogels will
He'll
be there too.
Very
yes.
good.
In fact,
I'll just hold on to his seat. I'll just hold on to his yeah, that's it's all good.
Mate,
tow
he could
cable.
tow you.
I'll bring a tow cable.
he took one of the beautiful Amy Gillett visibility jerseys last week. So they're these great jerseys that look quite normal and pretty, but then under any kind of light, they're like a disco ball.
Wow.
So very, very cool technology around visibility and safety. There you go.
It is.
It's beautiful.
Lovely.
Look at that. Don't forget, you can go to amygillett.org.au and buy yourself one if you like.
Oh, a little plug.
Yeah, little plug. Hank took one and took it on a gravel ride. So to prove to us that he's getting the Ks in.
Yeah, right.
He sent photographic evidence.
Yeah.
And there didn't appear to be any cars just behind or in front that he jumped in and out of.
It was also still laundry clean, the pink. I know you're talking about a gravel ride. I'm just going to throw a bit of shade at
true. It
Vogels
was
here.
very clean.
How long had you been on the bike in the gravel is my question.
I don't know.
He does some Ks, Hank.
He does.
He does.
He does some Ks and some speed. I remember he was talking one day and we were just nonchalantly talking about 80 kilometres an hour, 90. And he goes, yeah, I hit 100 today.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
K an hour.
Just on a morning ride,
Yeah.
on a mostly flat morning.
Loved
Like,
it.
what were you riding?
Yeah. We'll send him
superbike.
ahead. We'll send him ahead on drink stops to have it ready for us when we arrive.
And that means I'll be ahead because he'll be towing me. Now, Bikebug,
Yes.
you always have our back, bikebug.com. We have a promotion, Kate. We have another promotion to announce for Bikebug, I believe.
Oh, we've
Well,
just
not announced, but
yes, they have all of the gear that you'll need for Grand Fondo. Getting ready because it is Grand Fondo season. We've got Brisbane to Gold Coast. There is, of course, the Amy Gillett ride in Lorne in a couple of weeks to qualify for the World Championships for the Grand Fondo, which is in Lorne next year as well. You're in a good age category for that. Get your Grand Fondo World Championship on.
Don't think I can squeeze that in at the moment. Sorry.
Got a bit on.
Yeah, that didn't go as smoothly as we thought it might. Yes, and so you can get yourself some beautiful lights as well because we're advocating at the moment, I've got some for you, to make sure we wear lights in the dark and in the daylight.
Love it. Yeah.
So at all times, bikes on your light, be safe, be seen.
Yeah. Beautiful. Right,
Lachie Morton.
Well,
before we go, Lachie Morton, he's someone who needs eyes, lights.
Well, he's doing 14,100 kilometres more than we are.
Yeah.
Looking for the fastest cycle around Australia. He's only doing 400 kilometres a day.
Well, the current record, set in 2011 by a Queenslander no less, Dave Alley, 37 days, 20 hours, 45 minutes for 14,251 kilometres.
Can you imagine if you
Stick that in your jumper.
got through it in 37, 20 days and 44 minutes? I mean 46 minutes or 45 and a half?
He loves
After
a
all
challenge,
that.
Lachie, doesn't he? He just
Unbelievable.
never stops.
He's looking to knock 2 days off
Oh my
the challenge.
gosh.
Raising money for the Indigenous Literacy
Yes.
Foundation as well. Very important cause.
Yes, we've donated some books to that in the past. It's a great organisation.
Is he still part of EF?
Yeah, he is.
He is?
Yep. They
Not the World Tour team. Though.
No.
No,
He's-
just part of the team.
for his adventures.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
is quite remarkable. And his brother works for the ABC, or he did last time I checked.
Yep.
Great content producer.
Yep.
And so we always see great pictures, documentaries of his journey.
Oh, they're following
we
him in a
can-
camper, aren't they?
Yeah, we can look forward to that again. He's got
Yeah.
friends, family joining him.
The Morton Convoy.
The Morton
We'll
Convoy.
try and talk to him.
Remarkable.
We'll get onto that.
We will. Yeah. Are you onto that, Merckxy?
Yeah, I'll get onto it.
Yeah.
Give him a call.
Yeah, give him a call.
Before we go, hey Jude, it is your birthday. Happy 21st birthday to our long-suffering and I think our number one ticket holder, probably first ever listener and subscriber. Hey, has she definitely subscribed?
The,
Is that a
yeah,
bit awkward?
the matriarch of the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
That is my beautiful mother, Jude. We love you, Jude. Happy birthday.
Big thanks to Jude for her support. Big thanks to Matt Wilson for coming in today, giving us an update on ProVelo Super League and also going through all things Vuelta, Paralympics and everything else. It's been a
everything
ride.
else. Some training tips for you. I think the clear message for me, we need your eyeballs for it to be successful.
Okay.
Right, Matt? ProVelo needs eyeballs
That's it.
to
That's it.
carry it through.
That's it. Absolutely. Get on board. Yeah.
Tune in, join all the socials.
Yeah, love it as
Be
a
part of
package. Yep, excellent, fun, broadcast. Okay, the Wheelhouse Podcast, like, share, subscribe. Tell everyone you know. We'll be back to do it all again. I believe post-China for Hendricus.
Yes.
I'll be sunning on a beach in Thailand. But,
Yes. Oh no, I think he's there for another week. I think it's just us next week.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're in all
You're gonna
sorts
be
of
all
trouble
right?
then. No, no.
And then you can go to Thailand.
Okay, yeah, I'll just postpone the trip. No worries at all. Easy to done. Happy birthday, Jude. Thanks everyone.